Get ready, Texas. This week, we're ditching the boat, grabbing our boots, and staying stealthy as we escape those sweltering summer temps.
That's right, everyone. We're here catching your favorite species while we're waiting on the Texas Insider Fishing Report, which starts now.
Welcome to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. Presented by Yamaha.
You're watching the Texas Insider Fishing Report, and this week we're getting you off the boat and into the water as we explore the world of wade fishing. Right, Rick?
You're absolutely right, Bree. You know, this time of year it's so daggum hot that it's cool to just go ahead and get in the water.
Absolutely.
What's not cool for Ricky is getting in the water.
Right.
So you won't see me. I'll be one of those guys who just stays on the boat and puts up with the bow slap and all the stuff that goes on.
And we'll just splash you from below.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you go.
Yeah.
We'll keep you cool.
I just
all right, well,
spray myself
someone
down with
who
all-
does get in the water, Dave Farrell, is at the Yak Gear workbench, and I'm sure he has some tips to add.
I ain't scared.
You ain't scared? You got some Converse
I'll get
or what?
right in there. I usually do have, that's one of the things I'll talk about.
Oh,
I usually
sorry.
wade with Converses, but I don't have them today. Big, nice boot like you were mentioning.
Yep.
Good thing to have on.
Got all the good weight stuff
That's
over
right.
there. We'll hear
Fear
about
not
it a
what
little
lies
later.
beneath.
Uh-oh.
Very nice.
Rick fears, for
I
sure.
know,
He
he
fears.
does.
Okay, well, there's no better place to begin our wading game than in the Fish Bites Middle Coast region with Captain Bink Grimes. Take it away, Bink.
I'm glad we're talking about wading today because that's what I love to do. We beat the 100-degree temps in August by getting out of the boat. I love to throw topwaters, and that's what we've been doing for most of August, and I'm doing all this week. There's no hull slap from a boat. There's no slamming hatches. There's no heavy-footed anglers in the boat. Just quiet, stealthy approach in placid waters. I wrote a book, Wade Fish Texas, about 20 years ago when wading was so much more popular. I used to wade 80% of the time. Now it's about 20% of the time. Today, maybe it's sharks, maybe it's Vibrio, maybe it's just plain laziness. Anglers don't want to get out of the boat, but they're missing another world in the water. It's pretty cool out there. Areas around Pascaval, I've been wading with tide running trout entering and exiting the pass with the current topwaters and salt plastics like mirror lures and bass size work well. Guy Lynn Smith said he's been heading along the southern reaches of San Antonio Bay, full of trout and sand and grass guts on small topwaters and roach-colored plastics. Those wading with soft tines have done well, and boaters have been posting up on the edges of reefs with live shrimp. And then at Palacios, we've had to work harder on windy days on the south shoreline. Early morning incoming tide has been best, and most of those fish have been caught before sunrise. Then around Coon Island, the higher tides have been fooling trout on live shrimp and bass and sassons. Half Moon Reef is on fire with live shrimp. Soft plastics on the edge of the rocks have scored really big. Those fish bite shrimp underneath the mid-coast popping cork have done well. East Matagorda Bay has been good for trout out of the boat. Those mid-bay reefs are holding trout to 5 pounds with an occasional 7-pounder. Then Rockport Plug and soft plastic bites been tough at times, especially after sunrise, that people are throwing live bait like shrimp and piggy perch along the sand and grass channels. The photo there, that's the cover of my book, Wade Fish Texas. I wrote it about 20 years ago, published by Texas Fish and Game Publishing. It's still got the same information. We're still doing it the same way we were doing it 20 years ago. Redfish, August is normally a tough month to find redfish consistently in the shallows. That's when low tides and boiling water persist. Our temperatures are about 90 degrees right now, water temperature. Outside temperature is about 100, so that's why we're loving to wade. Pump a little bit more water in a bay, and our temperature's cool a few degrees, and close to 2. They're working about half a foot to 2 foot of water. Waders along the east end of East Matagorda Bay has found redfish while wading around Brown Cedar Flat, Bird Island, and Catch-All. There's also bruiser redfish around the log while drifting. Hurricane Beryl opened up Brown Cedar Cut to the Gulf, and there's been an ebb and flow of big redfish in there lately, so we got a lot of big redfish roaming East Matagorda Bay. Of course, the Surfside, Port O'Connor, and Matagorda jetties are holding lots of reds on mullet and large table shrimp. Photo there, that's a big bruiser redfish that's been roaming the middle of the bay since June and July, probably due to that 9-foot storm surge we got from Hurricane Beryl. Offshore, the federal red snapper season runs through August 28th, and forecast calls for 1 to 2 foot seas for the rest of this week. Chunks of squid, sardines, or Russell lures worked in state waters, have done well. Better fishing to 20 pounds came in about 80 to 100 foot of water off the coast of Freeport, Matagorda. There's also been some 24s and 25 pounders here lately. Mostly in 25 to 40 foot of water, there's about 10 to 12 pounders, and those, that's kind of the easy way out, 8 to 15 miles out. Kingfish continue to hang out around shrimp boats and other structures. Wahoo and dorado are on the weed lines and good in 200 foot of water. It's hot out there. Like I said, we're dealing with 100-degree heat, but so's the fishing in the fish boat bites Middle Coast region. Please continue to practice catch and release and do what's best for our bays and drink lots of water and stay cool.
All right, so we're going to stay cool. Thank you so much. Time for the Mirror Lure hotspots from the Middle Coast region. Bink says the trout are good around Pascavallo while wading with bass assassins. The redfish are good along the north shoreline of West Matagorda Bay using live shrimp.
All right, well, let's head further south into the Seasucker Lower Coast region where the wading opportunities are endless with Captain Chad Kenny. Chad, we had a few wading sessions together and it was fun. I liked it.
Yes, we did. Need to come back and do it again, but next time we're going to go up into this crystal clear water, which I'm going to be talking about today. We got some epic wade fishing stuff down here. We got some great weather right now, so offshore, inshore is really way to go. But talking about wading, the lower coast, there's people that come all over, to come fishing at Port Mansfield and South Padre just for the premier wade environment. We got crystal clear water. You can be a knee deep, waist deep, and see your feet. Hard bottom, it's really good stuff. We got miles and miles of that stuff. We literally got probably 70 miles of that water, especially on the east side. It's either sight cast for redfish or you can make long wades. Look for that bait and look for those redfish, pushing wakes also, and a few trout kind of mixed in. But the best way to wade fish is a power pull down and everybody spread out pretty much evenly, pretty much within casting distance almost, and keep in a line. Make sure your buddies or your group or anything like that, one guy doesn't walk out in front and push all the fish out from the rest of the guys. That's one little key thing I've got, a little pet peeve. It definitely helps a bunch of everybody kind of stays in line. I get a lot of people ask me all the time, which is a really good question, honestly, like, hey, why are you getting out of a completely good boat? Well, the answer to that one is that boat's a big silhouette, and it casts a shadow on those fish, and in that crystal clear water, they can see you before you see them, and you always kind of stay out of casting range. So you're a lot more quiet in the water. You can cover a lot more ground. I'm not talking like walking and moving or drifting on a boat by covering ground, but this I've talked about before. You can walk like 5 feet, stop, and you cast at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you cover a lot more broader area on that water. You're covering a lot more ground that way, and your lure's in the water a lot longer working. And the main thing is, once you find the fish, you can stay on them. You're not drifting through them. You can stay on them, catch and release, do whatever you want to. If you drift through them, you spook them a bunch, you push those fish a lot farther out, and once they get noticed into the boat, then they stay out of casting distance range right now when it gets calmer conditions, and it makes it a lot tougher during this time of year. So if you haven't tried it, head to the lower coast and see what it's all about. I guarantee you try one time, you'll really enjoy it. Talking about inshore, the red fishing's really picked up back again around the lower coast jetties, and the cuts are coming into the bay system. So those redfish run those jetties with these calmer conditions, and now it's time to take advantage of that stuff. Find a washout or a hole, anchor lock your Rodan trolling motor to keep you right there in place. There's lots of different ways you can fish with these reds, but live bait works really, really good on the Carolina rig. You can use live croaker, live mullet, works really good. And on the same rig, you can also put a fish bite on it, put that out there, either drop it straight down the hole or cast it out to the hole. Cast to the jetties works very good. If you're using lures, then go to an Eagle Claw, but use a heavier jig, go to 3/4 to 1 ounce, and a saltwater assassin sea shed on that. You just vertically kind of pump it off the bottom right there. These fish are going to move up and down those jetties, so when they're feeding, it's going to be lights out. You'll be all triple, quadruple hooked up. When it slows down, you got to be patient. Those fish are going to move up and down, kind of chasing that bait. So just keep your anchor lock on in your Rodan, and they'll move through there, and you'll have some good luck. I got a picture here of Ashley Miller here with her personal best redfish there, just caught right by the Mansfield jetties and released back in there, so it's still swimming.
That's a big one, bro.
Moving offshore, the offshore fishing, it's freaking lights out. It's good everywhere. Everything's going on. So today we're going to talk about shrimp boats for tuna, deeper out there for billfish. Deeper shrimp boats are out there, and they're holding some tuna on them. So minimum depth of water, at least look for 150 foot down here. But the better shrimp boats are holding them 220 to 300 at least. They're dragging their nets normally, so when they are, they're going to be moving about probably 4, 5, 6 knots. So pull 3 lines out the back. Smaller Islanders works really good, and those Savage Max 6 speed runners work really great. Pull alongside their arm bars and stuff. and look for tuning on your sounder. Once you find them and get the hookups, land those fish, get the lines back out really quick. That's why you run 3 lines too, and you can move a lot quicker. Repeat it. The bites are going to hit usually really early in the morning, and those fish are going to start diving down deeper between like 10 and 11. So once they start diving down deeper, go ahead and you have to go ahead and pull off and start fishing with something else. If you find some anchored up, control right behind their stern, or get back right on them, and if they're anchored up, and throw some chum up, start vertically jigging. Talking about bill fishing really lit up here lately. There's been some really crazy good numbers out there around Colt and Oasis Dome. There was just a Legends Fishing Tournament out of Port Aransas, and on the first day there's 38 boats entered. First day there's 106 billfish released. We had 60 sails, 26 blue marlin, and 20 white marlin in one day on the 38 boats. So congrats to those guys out there. When you're heading out there, put a full spread out. Islander lures work great. Rigged with ballyhoo, chuggers on the flat lines work good. Or you can go to a lot lighter tackle, which a lot of guys are doing. Pull some chin-weighted ballyhoo and some mullet dredges, and then back up and have a big old pitch bait ready in case you see a big old blue come up back in the spread. But there's definitely time to go between now and October. So if you guys are interested, definitely get out there and check out the blue water for the billfish.
All right, man. Great report. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the lower coast region. Chad says the jetties are holding on some slots and oversized reds. And then guess what? Offshore, everything is going on right now, but there's blackfin tunas on the deep shrimp boats and good numbers of billfish out by the Colt.
Good numbers is an understatement.
106 in one day.
Oh my
Holy
gosh.
moly.
All right, well, we're casting into the upper fresh region to see what your weekend has in store. But first, Dave Farrell has some wading secrets to reveal at the Yackyard Workbench.
We've got plenty of secrets, I'll tell you.
So many secrets.
So many.
Coming in hot to stay cool, baby.
Whoa, that was good, Rick. We'll be back.
All right.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Ameritrail. Load, launch, relax. Fenwick. Feel everything. Bahio. Blue light blocking, radically clear polarized fishing sunglasses. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. 30 years of fishing for adventure. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. And Skeeter Performance Fishing Boats. Eat, sleep, fish.
Well, it's time for the rig techniques here at the Yak Gear Workbench. Dave, wading, something you like to do?
I love to do it. I didn't have a boat for a long time, and that's how I did most of my fishing, was wading. In some pretty hairy places too. Now that I've gotten older, I look back at some of the places I went wading in and I think, that probably wasn't the best idea to wade there.
But you've had a lot of those in your life.
Yeah, there's a lot of alligators in there and creatures and whatnot. Yeah, you're exactly right. So anyway, we're going to start with the rods there. We've got a couple wading rods and reel combos there. The Carnage casting rod and the casting reel. That's a Fathom low profile reel on there. It's got metal body side plates. It's made by Penn, so you don't have to worry about getting it wet in the salt water. It's got a casting rod, the Carnage 3. It's got an inner spiral carbon with an outer spiral carbon wrap going longitudinal, and Fuji K series guides on there as well. And the other one is a nice spinning combo. You want to be able to make long casts. And so if you're using anything under 1/8 of an ounce, you probably want to pick up a spinning reel. Anything heavier than 1/8 of an ounce, you can use that casting reel.
Right.
But that has the Slammer 4 3500 on it. Again, full metal body and side plates, CNC gears. That's a sealed rod and reel. So the drag is sealed. The body is sealed. It's waterproof.
Nice and light.
Very nice. 8.1 stainless steel bearings. That's a really nice reel.
Yeah.
And a good rod, too. The Fuji K series guides, thick inserts, Hypalon handles. It's just made for, being immersed in salt water.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
Right. Perfect.
And, some of the things you're going to want to have is some nice boots when you're wading. You don't want to wade in places that are so soft that your feet are going to get stuck all the time. It wears you out. And if you're wearing low shoes, the shoes get stuck in the stuff, and you lose your shoes. So if you're just going to use a pair of shoes, use a pair of high tops. I used to wade in Converse high tops all the time because you could lace them all the way up and tie them on real tight. If you're wading in deeper water, though, you get a good squeeze. For some reason, your feet, when they're on the bottom, they get squoze from all the pressure.
Squoze.
So, exactly. So you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you're wearing something that'll flex. Otherwise, your feet start to hurt. Next, we got the some of the stuff to fish with as far as lures. That's the Savage Little Popper. I like fishing topwaters when I'm wading. I don't know. It's just so much more, immersive. You're in the elements. You've got this fish. You're watching him chase that topwater plug. It's really exciting.
The J Walker 120.
That's the Savage gear. And the J Walker 120. Those Savage gears are very heavy duty. 120 pounds of pressure you can pull on those little poppers.
Right.
The Berkeley roll top fish net. Usually you'd reach for a big, a long too as well in the summertime, a stringer, but there's a lot of sharks around a lot of times, so you want a really long stringer to get those fish away from you. Or you can use one of these fish bags from Berkeley. These were originally made for ice fishermen, but it's a great roll top bag. You can fit, quite a few fish in here, and zip them all out when it's time to zip them out. You just got a good way to get them out.
Yeah.
It's a zipper mesh.
You could use this for lobstering, scalloping, clamming.
Yeah. Any little fish that you want to keep, as long as they're in there. It's the 36 inches, 7-inch tube around, and a little carbiner. You can put it on your belt. Keeps fish alive, keeps bait alive if you wanted to put them in there. Another good thing is, nowadays we have backpacks and stuff that we use. Before, when we had those little fanny packs that we used, once you got to waist deep water, your fanny pack is now getting wet and everything in it is getting wet. But you can, wear a backpack and put something on your back. I like to use the waterproof boxes. That one's not a waterproof box, but I like to use the ones with the gaskets in them. And that little backpack will hold 2 boxes, and it holds 1.5 liters of fluid as well. So you can,
put your cocktail in there.
Yeah, you can put some ice water in there and be rolling. It also holds a bunch of soft baits and little plastic things, that little AFCO Urban Angler backpack. But backpacks are just great. And, so there, boy, we're in out of time.
Yeah, we did. You know what?
Are you feeling the squoze?
It's not just squoze, but you got to be careful because you'll have a swole.
Get swolled.
After you get out of the water. They'll be all swolled up.
Right.
Be swolled on squozed.
Well, I'm feeling the squoze over here. Okay, we're motoring into the Upper Fresh region and catching them up on Athens, Ray Hubbard, Levon, and Fork with Mike McFarland. Go for it, Mike.
Hey guys, yes, squoze. That was pretty good, Dave. But anyways, in much of what Dave said, wading-wise, here in the Upper Fresh region, you're just not going to see a lot of opportunities to do the wade fishing. Like Dave implied, a lot. First of all, danger, alligators and snakes and cottonmouths and copperheads, but also, again, a lot of private property, so no access. What is available is really nasty water and roots and sinkholes and no access with vehicles, and so we just don't seem wading in these parts that much. I'm sure somebody does something, but we don't. As far as bass fishing goes, Lake Athens right now, big schools of offshore bass are ganging up on the shad. The Berkeley Bullet Pop in shad colors and the Berkeley Jaywalker in bone white are my 2 best baits. I watch for those fish to school up. They'll bust on the surface, and those baits cast really well, and those baits just catch the fish. When they're not surfacing, they're down under the water, you can use a weightless bass assassin. Vapor shad, so it's a perfect bait for that. I like albino or watermelon red flake when the sun's shining real good. But there in Athens, the bass will surface and go down and surface and come back up and do that all day long. So just kind of pay attention. Sometimes the midday is the best. Ray Hubbard, Joe Shipley says the shad are moving around good early there too. So you're seeing a little bit of early and late topwater bite here and there. And then midday, Texas Rig big worms, raise out shaky heads with Bass Assassin 7.5 tap-out worm. Work the rocks, bridge corners, and brush piles. Lake Levon with Terry Thorne, black bass, 3 to 20 feet. So really mixed up. Early mornings, there's some cooler mornings, believe it or not. The spinnerbait bite's still there. It's shallow water on the points and things, 3 to 6 foot. Then he moves out a little bit deeper as the day goes, 12 to 15 with the diving crankbaits. And then obviously, some days they're just not reacting, so he'll go to the Carolina rigs, creature baits, Texas rigs, stuff like that on the submerged brush piles, main lake points, secondary points, your typical summer bass fishing. He also says a lot of times the boat ramps, there's a lot of rocks along the banks of the boat ramps. You can catch a lot of fish there too. And then Lake Fork, my personal home lake, the daytime bite is just almost obsolete. Your best, you can catch a few fish early and late, but your best bet's to fish at night. There's over 200 individual night docks or houseboat docks that have underwater green fiber optic night lights, where, I mean, you can just see it's like a swimming pool, a cesspool of giant fish and big fish and all kinds of things. It's really neat to try that at Lake Fork. Go look for some of those night lights and your typical square bills, spinnerbaits, jigs. Just go bass fishing. If you do fish in the daytime, you can catch some big ones, kind of like this fish here. This is a big Lake Fork summertime special that we got.
Nice. All right, what else you got for us there, Cap?
Crappie on Lake Levon. It's still good. He's finding fish on laydowns in 9 foot of water all the way out to 27 feet. Real mixed up. Watch the thermocline. It's settling in around 27 feet. It just depends on where you are on the lake. But crappie on there is pretty good. What's really good at Levon is the bluegills. The bluegills are great on structure. 15, 20 feet of water, earthworms, whackworms, mealworms, stuff like that. Light line and the crickets are catching bigger ones. But just above those brush piles and stuff, you can really catch a lot of good eating bluegills. Then Jackie Wiggins there on Lake Fork with the crappie here. He says it's just getting good as it always does in the summer. You'd think it would slow down with the heat, but it doesn't. So deep brush piles, offshore stuff, 18 to 32 feet. Just you got to move around till you find fish that bite. That's the biggest thing. Small hand pipe jigs are his favorite, and he'll sometimes tip them with minnows when they're finicky. But Jackie fills the tables. I mean, he fills everybody's freezer. Look at this. Just 2 more tables of awesome eating with Jackie Wiggins.
Oh, yeah. Man, I think I want to go do that. All right, tell me about the stripers and white bass, Bub.
So Lake Levon, every day is different. One day they're here, next day they're over there. You just got to look for those moving fish, just like we've been talking about. A lot of movement, topwater plugs, and little swim baits and 1-ounce slap spoons. Just stay moving until you find them. And then we can finish you up with some catfish. You know, just about any one of our lakes are doing good for catfish if you're willing to chum the spot. If you'll chum the rocky areas, 10 to 15 feet of water with cattle cubes just the day before, about 1 pound to 5 pounds of chum. Get out there the next day after that chum works a little bit. Use that typical catfish tub bait. You will fill your freezers this time of year. Everybody's doing that in just a few hours. Several hundred fish sometimes. So, really good times up here in Upper Fresh region. It's hot, but it's good fishing.
If you chum, they will come. That's right, Bree. Remember that. All right, let's take a look at the Ducks Unlimited hotspots from the Upper Fresh region. He says huge schools of bass taking claim to the offshore open waters of Lake Athens, making some of the very best topwater action of the year. The 2 best baits are the Berkeley Bullet Pop in the CJ Shad, which is chartreuse, and Berkeley Jaywalker in bone white color.
CJ Shad.
CJ
Shad. I saw that happening. All right, it's the perfect time to purchase a brand new Yamaha during Yamaha's Cruise Through summer sales event. From now until August 30th, eligible new Yamaha 450 to 425 HP outboards include up to 7 years of coverage protection. 350 to 30 HP outboards come with up to 5 years, and all new Yamaha portables include up to $250 in dealer credit. For more information, visit your local Yamaha dealer today.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. All right, we're beating the August heat in the Lower Fresh and Front Runner Boats Upper Coast region when we come back. Plus, we're saying hi to our friend from Yamaha. But remember to keep up with everything fishing in Texas. Scan that QR code to check out all of our social media pages, YouTube channel, Captain Rick Murphy, and on our website you can find our show merchandise, plus any products you see right here on the show. We'll be right back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. Abyss Battery. Power your pursuit. Ducks Unlimited. Leader in wetlands conservation. Rodan. Set it, forget it, catch more fish. Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome. And Penn. Let the battle begin.
Well, as you can see, joining me is Lucy Berg from Yamaha. She's our product specialist. You know, Lucy, we introduced this 350 at the Miami Boat Show in February. How are people loving it?
Well, it's no surprise. 2024 has been a good year for the introduction of this motor. Of course, we have a reliable, solid product, but the F350, that was a horsepower gap that we had, so our customers had been asking us for that motor, for that horsepower for quite a while. So Yamaha brought it. Customers asked, Yamaha brought it.
So one of the things, what are they saying about it? Why do they like it? Is it weight? What is it?
Well, yeah, it's lightest in its class. So we come in at 629 pounds for the 25-inch shaft. So we are lightest in our class. Really proud of that. And we've done things to just kind of tweak the engine itself. And one of the more convenient pieces of this outboard is that it has optimized charging off of that same stator that was on the 300. So we get better charging off of it. And I think you know all about that. I understand you've got some 350s hanging from the back
of your boat. We have 3 350s on our new front runner. And you know what's so amazing is that we don't even seem to have to plug in at the end of the day. And we're running a lot of big electronics too, 20-inch screens, 22-inch screens. We got pump boxes that are running, you know, radar. Obviously, when Ridge is on the boat, there's lots of stereos. But, you know, what about the colors and shaft links? What are we talking about, Lucy?
Right, so we have more options than we've had before with our colors. We've got 3 factory colors, our traditional gray that everybody's used to seeing. We've got that bright pearlescent white that we have behind us here, and then we've got new classic white. This is kind of like a warmer white, like an eggshell color. And then we've got 3 different shaft lengths, the 25, 30, and 35 inches, so multiple choices for our customers.
So I notice when I'm trolling, less white water. Why is that behind the boat?
Good catch. So this engine has technology on it that other offshore motors have. It's thrust enhancing reverse exhaust. There's an extra port above the NI ventilation plate that allows exhaust bubbles to escape above that propeller, so it's not going through the propeller. The propeller can grab clean water at 2,500 or RPM or below, and in reverse.
And where do we go to find out more information about all these cool features?
Right, YamahaOutboards.com.
Good job, Lucy. Where are we going, Bree?
All right, well, Matt Reed is keeping us cool and putting us on the fish in the lower fresh region this weekend. So give us your wading tips, Matt.
All right, Bree, let's knock this thing out. You know, wading is a great way to offset the summer heat and have fun catching all at the same time. Most of our lakes and streams have some access areas that give you a way to enter some prime habitat. You know, when wading, you want to keep it simple. Small spinnerbait, little crankbait, or a Texas rig worm will cover nearly all your bases. You want to just find an area, bail in, and start covering water down a small creek channel. There will always be bass and all kinds of panfish at your fingertips in that creek. Or if you're on the bigger water areas, look for rock outcroppings or timbered areas. Those are great zones to find some action. Don't let the heat stop you. Hit the water and have some fun.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about the largemouth. Go ahead.
Let's kick off the largemouth bass in that old South Texas region. Brian Cotter sent me a report from all around the lakes around the Austin area. Lake Travis is fishing very good. The lake is up. You know, it's come up quite a bit with the rains, and all the grass is a little bit deeper now, and the fish are in and around it. You want to throw jigs and Texas rig worms around it and in it to catch a lot of fish that are relating to it. Deep crankbaits and shaky heads out in that 10 to 20 foot range on the points and ledges are catching some bigger ones. Lake Decker's fishing well. The fish are pretty active for the heat, he says. Jerk shad and worms are your best choice early. Later, there's some schooling fish out on the open water, and swim baits are the way to target those. Lake Bastrop is always a big school fish lake. They're going strong early in the morning in the water discharge. You want to throw small fluke-style baits and swim baits when they're up and busting. If they go down, a shaky head with a finesse worm on it works great to catch those fish. Later, frogs and jerk shad around the edges of the reeds are catching some big fish that are hiding in the shade. And as always, up in the day, there's fish schooling out in front of the dam. Clear top waters are your best shot for those fish. Steelhouse Hollow Lake has been fishing pretty slow in the mornings, but really well in the afternoons and evenings. Look for those bass in a 10 to 15 foot range around the ledges off the main river channel swings. Worms and creature baits and football jigs have been catching some really good fish up to 8-pound range. Mike Bates sent a report from Choke Canyon. The lake level continues to fall with the high heat. We've had a lot of high pressure days lately that slowed the fishing some. There's still a decent early top water bite, but it only lasts for a short window. The popper style baits have been best. With that calm winds he's had this week, been a ton of schooling out on the main lake. Keep your eye open. Get your rattle bait or, a Damiki rigged in gizzard shad color to really catch those fish that are schooling. And as always, the old Texas rig worm and watermelon candy out on the ledges in that 10 to 15 foot range will catch you some bigger fish later in the day. Della Thompson sent me the Lake Amistad report. Still, the shade topwater thing is the main pattern early and late. Follow those bluffs, get the sun angle right, stay with the shade, and you can make that work for a long time. Midday, 10 to 20 feet off the points with the, Texas Rig Plastics has been really good. And a new pattern that's emerged lately is throwing a football jig on the bluff end. It's been getting some really big bites doing that. And my baby at Falcon, the bass are still on fire. Rocks and brush piles should be your target. 10 to 20 foot of the magic depth range. Texas rig, football jigs, and that Berkeley dredger crankbait has been a wonderful weapon lately. Got 3 pictures there. It's my buddies James and Robert with a Falcon Lake double.
Dang. Nice. Go
There's
ahead.
a couple of good ones. I can't wait to get back down and get my own hands on some. I got another falcon fish, that next picture there. And then we got Brian Cotter with a picture from Lake Travis of a fish. So don't let the heat bother you. Get out there and catch you some of these South Texas bass. They're really biting.
That's right. Listen to our Captain Matt Reed from the lower fresh region. But we got to take a look at his hotspots. I can't wait to see what he suggests. He says Lake Falcon bass are still on fire. The rocks and the brush piles should be your target. 10 to 20 feet are the optimum depths. Texas rigs, football jigs, the Berkeley dredger, crankbaits are the weapons of choice. Ignore the heat and start catching them. It's that simple, guys.
Ignore the heat on his baby. Falcon Lake.
My baby. Falcon.
I love it. All right. We're getting our wade fishing on in the Front Runner Boats Upper Coast region. So let's see what we need to know with Captain Carl Weston. Go for it, Carl.
Hey, guys and girls. Well, what we need to know is the weather has been beautiful. It's a bit warm. We've had a few showers here and there, and that water temp is bumping up. It's 84, 86 degrees in some places. So perfect for wade fishing, which is what we're talking about. Definitely a fan favorite here in the Upper Coast, guys, especially in August. Now, keep a watchful eye for sharks out there. When the water's this warm, you're not the only predator out there looking for a meal, so be safe and have fun. Wading is pretty cost-effective, too, for anglers as well. You need a pair of good boots, your life jacket. I always take my Bahio sunglasses so I can cut through that glare and actually see what I'm catching. Your favorite pen combo, stick you a package of fish bites in your back pocket. It's all you need. It's a recipe for some good fishing. And talking about fun, Taco Marine, they make that amazing little toy, I call it, called a shade fin. I can't tell you how this has changed the fishing game for sun protection. Being able to stand in the water and fish and still be shaded off the boat, I'm telling you guys, it's priceless. You got to get you one. I got a picture today of Mr. Shane wading, catching him a nice redfish.
Boy, he sure did. What else you got?
Well, like we're talking about the heat. The heat's coming, and so are the trout. That's right. We've had to look for good fish all year, Rick, but over in Galveston Bay, the oyster reefs, they have a ton of bait right now. The birds have been working up it looks like somebody dumped their stink over there. The birds on top water. That's where you're going to want to have your bait, top water. Like shrimp, finger mullet, croaker rigged in a drift line or a popping cork has really produced some great fish. The warmer water and that influx of cleaner water in the Gulf has improved conditions all over our upper coast. And the beachfront, man, it looks like a lake out there this week. Schools of larger trout have been running up and down that second sandbar. You can watch them blowing up on bait ponds. It's been a mixed bag of fish, but man, you just get out there and do some wading right now. You're going to catch some beautiful fish. I have a picture today of Shannon with a beautiful trout.
All right, looking good. All right, what else you got? Let's go offshore.
All right, well, let's talk about the kingfish this year. They've been scattered for the last few years. We used to have big schools on every pile of structure you could find, and they had really slowed down the last couple of years, guys. But now, in the last 2 weeks, they've really picked up. Last week, we finally saw bigger fish. More of them schooled up, and some still scattered for the most part. And the old tactics are still working. Our number one method, like we've used in the past, live bait drifted or slow trolled over structure, large swim baits like the Berkeley Magic Swimmer, Chopo 120, and Mullet have really done well. The oil platforms in the 130 to 160 foot range have marked the best fish, better than the inshore rigs. But wherever you find good bait, you're going to find some kings now. And with amazing blue water, you might want to downsize a little bit. You might want to go fluorocarbon in front of that wire leader. It'll improve your strikes. These fish have good eyes, and you want to trick them with that bait. I got a picture today of a gentleman that tricked one right there. He's got a pretty picture of a king.
Looking good. All right, let's talk a little bit about the snappers.
Okay, snapper, I know your favorite fish is, they were a little slow for a week or so, something to do with that storm, and then they picked back up. I would still stick to that 100 to 160 foot range if you can. It seems to be the fish are a little better quality, better size. Still using cut squid, squid flavored bait as well. Heavy jigs, dipper fish bites is a fun medium action pen combo. Man, that's a blast. The bigger snapper will give you a great fight on this light tackle. And a little trick I've learned in the past is I like to chum a little bit, pull those big fish off of the pile a little bit, hit stop, hold on my Rodan, and I almost sight cast those bigger fish, and that is a lot of fun. And I don't know who this fella is, but he snuck in a picture of a big snapper.
Yeah, all right, Carl, you know what? Let's keep our fingers crossed about the weather. You know, we're coming there with the front runner. We're going to run offshore and see if we can't catch some stuff down deep. So we'll see you next week for sure.
We're ready, boss.
All right, man, we'll see you later. It's time for the Upscale Glass Company's Hotspot. Carl says that inshore, the oyster reefs at Galveston Bay are full of bait and birds, and the top water is the best tactic to catch those redfish and trout. And then inshore or offshore, red snappers in the 160 to 200 foot range on cut squid and cigar minos.
I saw some new front runner and Yamaha footage in there.
How about
like
that?
Like brand new.
Brand new.
Brand new. All right, we're looking
As in 2 days old new.
2 days old. We're about to get some new footage, I feel like. All right, we're looking into the Startron Middle Fresh region to see what we'll need for a successful weekend on or in the water. But first, Dave has some brand new Taco Marine new products at the Yak Gear Workbench.
I do. We got some new hooks, new sunglasses, new baits.
Everything you need to succeed.
And
We'll
this
be
thing.
back. It's a telephone.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Fish to Win, Fenwick, Feel Everything, Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome, Island Lures, Tournament Tackle, Sea Sucker, easy on, easy off, incredibly strong. Turn on the bite anytime. Tie on a Miro Lure. Front Runner Boats, performance-built offshore fishing boats made in the USA. And Startron, start, run, and store with Startron.
I'm gonna go park the truck, babe. I got the kids.
Getting your boat on the water requires your full attention. And having a family with you is no easy task. That's why Power Pole is like having an extra set of hands, making a day on the water the best it could be with less stress and more time for fun with friends and family. Family fun made easy because of Power Pole, and that's your Power Pole tip of the week.
Good job on that, Bree, that Power Pole tip of the week. But it is time for the new products, Taco Marines, here at the Yak Gear Workbench. And Dave?
We're going to start with
Hello, it's for you.
Yeah, that's the TH Marine grab handle, also known as the O shoot handle. Self-molded handle with stainless steel accent rings, comes in black or graphite. You can mount that any place where you might, that's cool there. It's got the hidden fasteners in there.
Right.
You put those little plugs back on. But you put that thing any place where you need to handle, where you need to hold on, either coming in and out of the boat or near one of the seats or something, in case somebody needs to, in case you're driving.
In case I'm driving.
And somebody needs to hold on. UV resistant, soft over mold, and with those rubber organic feel, ergonomic feel. Good Lord, what happened?
You don't have a lunch, Dave. This is what happens when you're down on your
I need
energy.
a Snickers or something.
Yes, you do.
CHMarineSupplies.com.
Okay.
Next, we have the 2 hooks there that are perfect for wade fishing as well. Even though we're not talking about that right now. But the TK120 Magworm extra wide gap hook comes in 3/0, 4/0, 5/0, 6/0, 7/0. It has that really huge gap. Handles large plastic baits like frogs and creature baits and stuff with a lot of girth to them. Really good for big RSB worms from Bass Assassin.
Right.
It just has that really long, wide gap, so allows a fish to get its mouth all the way around it and get hooked.
Artemis shad for saltwater.
Yeah,
the
all
big
the bulkier
5-inch die dapper.
Yeah.
Going to be perfect.
All the bulkier plastic baits, and it's a really stout hook.
Yeah.
Stands up to powerful hook sets or ripping fish through cover.
Right.
So it's a really good, and that trocar point on there, really, that 3-sided point, even lets that big wire get through. So next we have the weighted swim blade hook. It's got a little willow blade on there as well, so that when you're swimming that thing, it adds a little flash to your swim baits. Again, you can rig it weedless, so it's great for fishing around cover, still providing that nice flash. That there's a little titanium wire that attaches that willow leaf blade on there.
Yep.
So it's very light and strong.
Screw lock for the nose of your bait.
Right, and
I like it.
That's a great swim bait hook right there. That's
This
a
would be
giant
great
hook.
for that Artemis shad.
Yeah, it comes in 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce, and up to 3/8 ounce, and from 3/0, 5/0, and 7/0.
Nice.
And you can go to eagleclaw.com to get either one of those 2
Okay,
hooks.
let's do that. Now what?
Next, we have the Berkeley Gulp Surf Bites. These are, made for, I guess they're made for surf fishing.
Of course they are.
Extreme scent dispersion expands the strike zone 400 times. Last longer than frozen bait. They're very durable. It'll stop the bait stealers from, getting your baits when you put this stuff on there, because it's really, really tough. Comes in 5.7-inch strips, pre-cut and marked. There's a 4 count in each package. And you can put them back in there, back into that gulp. If you take them out and use it, cut it back off, or put one piece back in there, and it'll recharge, so you can reuse them. Rig as you would with a live bait. Really versatile shape. Can use it on a jig, Texas rig, drop shot, whatever you want to do.
You can use it in the surf and use it as something you're tipping.
Right, five different colors, and you can go to berkeleyfishing.com to get those.
Okay.
Last but not least, we've got the Bahio Tiona, I guess.
Getting ready to go into John Lennon, baby.
Yeah, Tiania. I don't know how to say Tionia. It's the metal connection. It's the metal collection.
I look like a bald-headed John Denver with a goatee.
You look like that.
I don't
the
look
music
good in
guy
this,
on David
baby.
Letterman. What was his name?
Paul Simon.
Yeah, not Paul Simon.
No, Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer. You look a little like Paul Schaefer's there.
Yeah.
Hypoallergenic stainless steel,
He didn't
narrow
look this good,
temples,
Dave.
small fit frame for narrower faces. It's got a medium wrap. It has that little vintage look. They're almost perfectly round. Polarized blue block lenses, flexible nose pads. The barrel hinges on the side, so you can't really pop them out. And BahioSunglasses.com to get those.
I'm calling Dave Letterman now to see what he
if you
thinks.
can get on the show.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
You can
Wow.
play some music.
Rick, those are something. All I have to say is, Willy Wonka or $1 million? I don't know. All right, right now in the Starchan Middle Fresh region, wading takes a little skill and finesse to find the right spot. So let's get some help with that from Matt Loescher. Hi, Matt. If you could only see Rick right now, he looks good. He looks like Dr. Evil. He's giving Dr. Evil vibes. Let's get to your report.
Well, I hate that I'm missing that.
Oh, it's good.
But let's talk about wading for a minute. So, wading is not a super prevalent method of fishing in the Middle Fresh region overall. but it can be very effective at times for those that get in on it. It's primarily a springtime deal here when the fish are spawning. When the fish are spawning, the wade fishermen can use a stealthy approach to access those shallow flats and those bushy areas where the fish are spawning that are tough to target from a boat. And so the wade fishing can be very advantageous at that time. And of course, it's always a possibility. You can go catch fish by wading anytime. We just have deep reservoirs here, so the fish in the middle fresh region, to be successful, you just need to do a lot of map study. You need to use those topography maps to locate the shallow flats, the areas, particularly with a good deep creek channel or a deep drop-off along the perimeter of those flats if you want to be successful wading right now. Just like I've been mentioning in my reports lately, deep water is crucial for holding the bait fish in this hot weather, and of course the bait fish being the fish along with them. The good news for the wade fishermen right now is that you can keep your bait selection very simple. This time of the year, it's pretty much the same baits that work all the time. You're looking at a worm, a crankbait, maybe a topwater plug if they come up schooling. That's really the only 3 baits you need to carry. So you can keep it light, don't have to pack a lot of tackle. Just use those topography maps to find the right areas that give you the most opportunity, and you can definitely go out there and get them. And so now I'm going to jump into what the fish are doing this week, which I've already kind of alluded to, talking about the largemouth. Going to start here on Toledo Bend. Water level is dropping really fast right now. We've finally dried out from all that rain that we had a few weeks ago, and the heat is on, so the water's coming down quick. The dam operators continue to have the generators running 24 hours a day, so we still have some good water movement, which helps the bite. The level is now about 3 feet below pool and falling fast. The water temperature is holding around 90, and this warm falling water level is going to help to concentrate the fish more and more. So don't get discouraged if you don't find them right off, because they're just going to be really, really grouped up when you do find them. They're going to be grouped up around the edges of the flat and around the creek channels. The fish have been sitting in about 15 to 20 feet of water. That's been the most productive depth, but the boat is usually sitting out deeper than that. So you're usually sitting in some, 20 to 40 foot water, throwing into 15 or 20. Schools of fish are ready to bite crankbaits right now. Shad pattern on the crankbait. Worms are always a staple. And I'll say it again this week, if you're not throwing that Bass Assassin tap-out worm, you're just missing out. That thing is just catching. I like to have a topwater bait, like a walking bait, at the ready as well. The fish do occasionally come up chasing some shad on the surface, so have that prepared. And we got a photo for you of one of our bass campers here. That's Mr. Carson there with a nice Toledo Bend bass.
Nice.
Good job.
Tell me about Sam Rayburn. Take your time, bub.
All right, so over on Rayburn, still a lot of water, but just like Toledo Bend, it's falling fast. It's a little over 4 feet high at this time, but the dry weather has finally allowed them to start releasing some water, and it's coming on down pretty quickly. So it's kind of all over the place right now there, but with the forecast and no rain in the forecast, it looks like that might be the new trend. Hopefully we're done with these huge rains making it flood again, because we're coming into fall soon. We don't want it that high. But the bass on Rayburn have been forced into moving around a lot with that high stationary water for a couple of weeks now, and then now we're back to falling water and current again. So the most productive bite lately has been shallow up on the flats, finesse baits, and up on the tops of the points, fishing finesse worms and crankbaits a little bit. But with that water moving and falling again, I look for that to change day by day. So the fish are going to begin to pull out to the edges of those flats and closer to the ends of those points and deeper water again. So this weekend, just keep an open mind. You might still find that really productive shallow bite, especially early in the morning, but look for your Carolina rigs and your crankbaits out a little deeper, especially when that current's running, to become the key players as that water falls and then the day heats up. That's going to push them out there a little farther.
All right, bub. I hope everything's going good. How's my kids doing?
The babies.
Oh, they're awesome. I'm waiting on that baby girl to get out there and start catching some fish.
Hey, Pearl's a mama too, so how's she doing?
Oh, she's wonderful, and you know how she likes to get on the boat, so she's been dying to get out there. We're puppyless finally now, so we're gonna have to get Pearl out there catching them again soon.
All right, well, thanks for catching us up on all those family duties. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the Rodan Marine Systems hotspots from the Middle Fresh region. Matt says, guys, the water levels are dropping and the bass are stacking up on all the drop-offs The bait selection is simple, with worms being the most productive, and crankbaits are pulling them into the mix as well.
Puppies and babies, he is crazy.
He's past nuts.
Oh
He's in the
my
cuteness. In the
goodness
cuteness zone.
gracious.
Now look at our glasses.
I'm sorry,
on
but
Dave.
Dave looks
I'm the only one who can
really
pull
good
these
in
off.
them. I can't pull them off.
They look good.
Yeah.
They look great on you.
You
It's
know
because
why?
of your small head.
He has
I have
a
a small head.
barracuda face.
Oh, that's not nice. He just has a
No,
small
he's
head.
this little narrow face.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what it is.
Let me try them. Let me try them.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to wear them waiting this week. Let's see. How do they look? Willy
Bree-
Wonka?
No, Bree, you can wear anything. You look great.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Get out there, get in the water, catch those fish, and we'll see you next week.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
guys.
Bye.